First half from the leaders, Liverpool 3-0 up away at West Ham United. I guess the only surprise, Michael, we've had to wait half an hour for the first goal to finally arrive. Luis Diaz.
Yeah, it did take a little while, didn't it? Liverpool started off pretty, he finishes it really well, but this is the touch. Kudus, he thinks he's going to nick it. He thinks he's going to take a touch into midfield. A pretty easy finish for him. That was one of the easier finishes you can have. A ball pretty stationary, running onto it, but a lovely strike. Yeah,
and there's 8 Premier League goals this season for Luis Diaz. He's already equalled his best ever tally in an entire season.
They have third goal especially, second goal we're going to see in a minute. It's just kind of mistakes that don't need to be made, you know? They're not...
Just a word on Cody Gakpo. 8 goals in his last 11 starts for Liverpool.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's playing his way into the start, and obviously he started today, but if there was the biggest game of the season tomorrow, I think he'd be in it now, which is not something I've said since his time at the club. So playing particularly well, scoring plenty of goals. But you know what? The 3 players that have got those shirts at the moment, Diaz, Salah and Gakpo, probably in the form of their life, all 3 of them probably playing at this moment as good as they've ever done in a Liverpool shirt.
Yeah, and Salah certainly in as a new well-known Liverpool are 2-0 up, but he hasn't scored. He isn't overall happy until he's got one himself. But again, West Ham were in possession of the ball here.
They were, yeah, they gave the ball away again in a dangerous area. And we all know that Liverpool love winning the ball.
But Areola, one of his strengths is his spring. He's very much like Robert Sanchez. He's got an incredible spring. All the timing wrong with his left hand, he'll be disappointed.
At the other end, West Ham have had a couple of flutters. One in particular at 0-0 inside.
West Ham's something to cling on to at half-time, as it is. You know, Liverpool aren't that team anymore, are they, of a few years ago, where you think, you know what, they attack great, but they leave stuff, you know, open at the back. They're not like that now. They're very in control. And I can't imagine West Ham are going to get back into this.
Liverpool as well, but another significant one for the Premier League's leading goal scorer. Here he is, Mo Salah.
Well, Mo, you must be getting sick of these interviews. And
well, he's the player of the match. He's 17 goals in 18 games in the Premier League this season. He's averaging a goal, as you can see, almost every 93 minutes. We'll come to some of those numbers in a moment. He said we're nowhere near making an announcement there. In an ideal world for all Liverpool fans, would you hope when we get to January, when the window's open, when all 3 of these Liverpool players could, if they wanted to, speak to other clubs, that would be the ideal scenario for Liverpool to release a statement and say, here he is, signed, sealed and delivered?
Yeah, that's ideal, isn't it? Absolutely.
Because otherwise it's going to go on and on, isn't it, through this month when the window's open and...
Yeah, but no, I don't think anyone's expecting him to leave in this window.
No, but he could announce something, couldn't he, for the end of the season?
Yeah, well, in January he could, yeah, but that's going to happen, though. He's going to get to... It's nothing with Mo Salah and with Virgil van Dijk, for that matter. I'm a little bit not sure about Trent Alexander-Arnold. That's the one that I'm not that confident about. I just think that the stars align, the pieces fit in the jigsaw. Real Madrid, desperate for a right-back. You know, their current right-back's ageing. Their current right-back has got a cruciate knee ligament injury. They're desperate for a right-back. Trent Alexander-Arnold, nothing left on his contract. On a free at the end of the year. It's a new challenge. His good friend, Jude Bellingham's out there. There's a lot of things that piece together that makes me think, you know what, that one could happen. I'd be more confident about Virgil and Mo Salah staying.
I mean, who on earth would get their head turned by the white shirt of Real Madrid when you're playing for Liverpool anyway? Is that the only downside for Liverpool fans at the moment? Because everything on the pitch is inch perfect. But these 3 major players off it, all out of contract at the end of the season, is the talk of every Liverpool supporter that you bump into at the moment.
But, like I say, I think they're doing fantastic for the football club. They're staying very, very present. All of them, they're available every single week. We're seeing so many injuries throughout the Premier League, throughout the footballing world. These guys play at the highest level. They represent their country. I think they're absolutely fantastic what they're doing. They're staying so focused. They're staying so calm. They're playing at such a high level. Football's a business. They're making business decisions and they're staying calm and they're letting the people above them have the conversations. But who knows what those conversations are? I certainly don't, and all of us would be speculating, we're putting jigsaw pieces together. I just want to give great credit to 3 top players who are doing a fantastic job in a really difficult league. And they're showing up every single week, making themselves available and putting themselves on the line and doing an incredible job.
That's a really good point, isn't it? Because, joking apart, you have been in this situation, and it is easy for your head to be somewhere else sometimes with uncertainty, short term certainly, not knowing where you're going to be next season in case of all three of them, but it hasn't for one iota affected any of them at any time. Quite the opposite.
Quite the opposite, yeah. They're all, in fact, if you could create a more perfect scenario, I don't think you could really. I mean, the way Mo Salah's value is going up week by week. I mean, I bet you Liverpool wish they'd done it a year ago. It might have been a little bit cheaper. Now, you can't be without him. You can't be without Virgil van Dijk. These are two, probably, you're looking at the best right-sided forward and the best centre-half in the world. You just don't find them anywhere else, and they're proving it every single week. And they're going further and further clear in the Premier League, and they're at the top of the Champions League table, and they're in the semi-finals of the Cup, and the other Cup's about to start. This is the best. They are in the best position possible. If you're looking at the business decision that Joe's talking about, they're absolutely flying from that point of view. So yeah, but fair play to them as well. As you say, you can get a little bit distracted. It's more worrying if you're not you don't feel like you're in a strong position, or if the club are not showing you love. If they're thinking of selling you or things like that, that can distract you because you're thinking, right, they don't really love me. Where am I going to go next, etc. But at the moment, they'll be clambering to sign them. I mean, it's impossible that anything else could be the case. And they're holding all of the aces in this negotiation.
Senior pros in a dressing room in a Premier League, which isn't necessarily all about ability. The levels are so high. You've got two senior pros and Trent to an extent. I know he's only 26
He's
in
the
numbers.
vice captain though, Joe, isn't he?
He's the vice captain, and you've got a new manager that's coming, and it has gone great. Absolutely brilliant. Arne Slot's done a fantastic job. But there are going to be moments. There's no Jordan Henderson anymore. There's no James Milner anymore. There's these really high standard setters that people who are trying to come through, who are trying to find their feet, the Darwin Núñez, the Harvey Elliott's, Curtis Jones, as much as they're trying to get better and improve, they know they've got that safety blanket. They've got, well, Virgil's going to perform. We know that Mo's going to perform and score us goals. We know that Trent's going to create something out of nothing. That is an incredible safety blanket away from the business side of things and away from how they're playing to help progress the younger players to watch what a great example they are as professionals. So there's so many different elements to this.
Dominant performance and, again, loads of goals.
Yeah, loads of chances as well. I think it was 3-0 at half-time, but after 10 minutes we could have scored 3 as well. On the other side, it was good that not every chance they had went in. They had 2 or 3. One at the post, one at the bar. Where against Leicester, they had the first chance they had was a goal. So yeah, a bit unlucky maybe with us not scoring in the first minutes. A bit lucky that on 1-0 could have hit the post instead of the ball went in.
How satisfying is that clean sheet? People talk about your goals, but to get a clean sheet, your first since the win over City in the Premier League, it must be really pleasing.
Yeah, definitely, because it's one of the reasons why you win a lot. So if you every time have to score 2, 3 or 4 goals, at the moment we do, but it's not maybe sustainable for a longer period of time. So sometimes you need a win by keeping a clean sheet and only score 1 or 2 goals. But today we didn't even need our clean sheet, but it's always good, I think, for the confidence for the last line, and goalkeepers and centre-backs really like this, and managers as well, to keep a clean sheet.
One negative, I guess, is that Joe Gomez had to go off with an injury. What have the medical team said to you?
Not a lot, but I'm not part of the medical team. But if a player makes a sprint and then says, "Okay, I have to go out," we all know it's his hamstring, and that's not going to take 1 or 2 days. That's going to take longer. The positive thing was that his replacement, Juraj Kwanza, played an outstanding game. So it again shows how important the squad is. Sometimes it's difficult if you don't play a lot, like Juraj. But he's trying everything to be ready if the team needs him, and that was today, and he showed up. So it's not only talking about Mo Salah, what he does, it's also about these squad players that are really important for us.
I know you'll say it's about the players, but when we just look at your record in 2024, you've coached 49 games, 27 with Liverpool, 22 with Feyenoord. You've lost 1 of them.
Yeah, I knew. Depends on the way you look at it. You could say I lost 2 because I lost the penalties against AS Roma, but over 90 minutes that was a draw. So compliments to Nottingham Forest.